Leo's making his way down the trail.
I mean, I've gone there, but now I have to go back. And it's so far.
Yeah, we walked about, it'll be 5 kilometers probably round trip today. How are your legs feeling, Leo?
My legs are like this.
We started out this morning after we got a snowstorm, and the snow was really light. As the day went on, though, it started to really warm up, and now it's been raining out for the past while. And so I decided we'll do another review on our Ventile cotton coat, because after this will be a good probably 3 hours in the rain. And we'll see how this performs and if it's dry when I come out of this today.
Is it dry right now?
It seems to be, yeah. It started to get pretty cold, the fabric itself, because although I think it's keeping all the water out, it does, like, the cold still is there on this cotton, and I think anything then that the cotton touches underneath kind of gets cold as well. I just have a base layer underneath this, a thin base layer, and so I could feel the cold temperature coming right through the cotton, but otherwise I think it's keeping me dry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, also, guys, make sure to comment of what you think our new YouTube channel name should be.
Yeah, because we're going to try to rename the channel to something people can actually type in and search. And so if you have any suggestions, leave it in the comments. That's a good idea.
Yeah, so leave it in the comments, and if we like the name, then we'll put it as it. So, yeah.
Awesome. These are Canadian military wind pants that are worn generally in the winter time. And they're, as opposed to this totally cotton jacket, Ventile cotton, these here are, I think, 100% polyester. They completely stop the wind when you're out on a cold day, but I don't think they're going to be waterproof, and it'll be interesting to see just how wet I am on my lower half compared to the Ventile. I think that's it for here, buddy. We'll move along.
Bye, guys.
About 2 kilometers through the snow left to go.
Yep.
I've got on a pair of Canadian military combat boots. These are the older version that were all leather on the inside as well. And they held up really awesome. And going through really wet snow today for, several hours, these stayed warm. On my legs, I've got a pair of Canadian military windproof pants. These are 100% polyester of some sort. They're awesome in most conditions, but today they got totally saturated. And they lace up around your boots, which is really nice, so to keep snow out of your boots. But if I look up, my base layer today is U.S. military, the modern stuff from the ECWCS stuff that they make. And that's totally saturated through, and I've got a long pair of socks on there to keep my calves warm. But my feet are good from here up to almost to my waist. Is totally soaked, so I'd be freezing by nighttime based on that. And here, you go back a little bit, and I'll set it here. Okay, so on the inside of this, you can start to see moisture coming through there a little bit, right at the base of the hood. It was starting to saturate. Had it just stayed snowing out today and cold, that's still drier than when it's raining, and I think this Ventile would go through winter weather no problem at all, and therefore it would be good on any type of really year-round. Basically, as a shell it would work. It's windproof, it is largely waterproof, but you get out on a day like today again, and had I spent 6 or 8 hours in that rain today and then the temperature dropped tonight, that would have saturated through the Ventile and into my base layer, and then I would have been cold by nighttime. Definitely with the pants, they're soaked, my legs are soaked, and so Ventile cotton held up a lot better than the polyester layer that I had on, if that says anything. And Leo today was testing down, and of course we know down doesn't do well at all in wet weather, because once it gets wet, the down insulation clumps together, and then you're just wearing a wet, non-insulating jacket. And I think you were pretty cold, weren't you, Leo?
Yes. Yeah. I was actually really cold, not talking about the jacket, my feet were completely soaked.
Yeah, so Leo's pants and all of his layers were wet by the time we got home, and he was getting quite cold. So proper layering and clothing means the difference between life and death out there. But I'm very proud of my little man. Our cameraman made it 5 kilometers through heavy, wet snow and bad weather today.
That might be more impressive than when I climbed Mount Carlton. Yeah, so guys, before we leave, me and my dad are actually gonna make more kitty videos.
Oh yeah? Of
Yeah.
Spooks. Why don't you do a close up to end our video with Spooks?
Please.
Here's our Spooksies. Hey Spooks. He loves being coddled. He just loves being coddled. Apologies. I think the first part of this video has some focus issues on the camera. So hopefully this half will come out a little bit better, but I know that makes it a little bit hard to watch. Anyway, the other day my son and I went for a hike for about 2.5, 3 hours in rain and snowy conditions. And now tonight I've been out for another 2.5 hours working in my woods doing logging. And so I'm wearing a jacket that I made specifically for that has nylon, Cordura nylon on the sleeves here and shoulders and stuff for grabbing logs. That's just to protect against the abrasion. And I've got Ventile on this as well in places. And I think it eventually soaked through. We're going to check here now, and bear in mind that what seeps through may also be in part because of my seams. Anywhere that I've stitched probably allows water through the fabric. What I do notice though is that we're at about 0 degrees Celsius tonight, hovering right around freezing, and I was able to stay warm in this because this jacket is wool on the inside. And so I think it's quite true what they say about wool, that it holds a certain amount of its heat even when it's wet. And I wasn't freezing out there when I was working, but I wouldn't want to spend the night out in this either, in the condition that I'm in right now. Also on the pants here, I've got on these German army wool pants, and I think they're also, well, I can feel it, they're saturated right through as well. So like I say, staying fairly warm, but definitely wet through my layers. And I'm just going to pull this off and see if my t-shirt's wet. Here you can see wet there on my t-shirt and just a little bit on the shoulders. So, geez, that said, Ventile seems to be extremely weatherproof. I wouldn't say waterproof. And again, part of it might be anywhere that seams are stitched. But yeah, the stuff holds up really, really well. I'm impressed that I wasn't completely soaked on my shirt here on the inside. So I would say highly recommend, again, this fabric. Thank you for watching. I'm freezing cold. I got to get inside.